Hello and welcome to another episode. We've just had a bit of technical difficulty at the start. I've got no idea. I think this is the same problem we had last week where the stream wasn't actually going out. It looks to be sorted now. I think the stream's going over. I think I set the quality too high, expecting too much for YouTube. So, a couple of things for tonight. We have a couple of bits to airbrush, which I've been asked off a couple of people how to airbrush some templates and stuff like that. So I've got templates and I've got a full topper to quickly airbrush on live stream, hoping everything goes well. Can't think of any reason why it wouldn't. We've also got the images of the wave kit I got from Beanie Games. Oh, that. They let me take the photos of them this week, so I've been able to work out what kit and what bits we need for when. So hopefully I've got some pictures, technology forgiving me, hopefully some pictures of them and a quick explanation of when we use the kit and how we use the kit. So I'll just set that. We are having slight technical problems with the live stream not going out. I think there's a couple of people in there now. That seems a bit better. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see, get a few people involved. So, the main thing for tonight is going to be the wave kit with a couple of bits and pieces. I've also got a job on this week, so I'm going to, while talking and stuff like that, I'm going to have a go at putting some Legion bits together. I'll put them over there. I've got 2 sets of Legion to build in the next couple of days, so I can quickly build them while we're live streaming. And we will go to the wave kits. So we've opened the wave kits up, had a look through them. There's a lot of nice shiny prizes in there, ranging from some patronage cards right up to a wave champion. We might get this wrong, so don't hold us to the facts, but this is the stuff that we think, well I think, is how it's going to work, and I've separated the photos into it. So to start off, we will go with these are the patronage cards. Basically they're to give out to people who buy products from the store that these are being given out from. There is 50 of them in the kit, so they're a bit of an incentive to buy from your local store, a bit more than off of the big places like Walmart and stuff like that, especially if you're in America. They're I'd say an extended art proton torpedoes. Nothing on the back, just the torpedo logo. So after that, this is where technology will fail me, is these are for the wave leader. So when you plan and play the other events, there's a quick build party, a thematic event and a wave championship. The person that's won the most gets these prizes. It is a range ruler set and a nice shiny card to say you came first. People will have seen this from Legion. Legion has a similar sort of shiny double-sided gloss cards with them, and it's like a trophy sort of thing. The next one is the quick build kit. So basically in the quick build kit you get, there's 3 cards, so you get Karud, A Himitsu and Skull Squadron Pilot. You also get 4 charge tokens. The charge tokens, when we posted up, we've had a couple of people already say, I think they're going to be hard to distinguish, so I'm going to have a look at making some decals to go on the back to show when they're spent, sort of thing. So you basically get 1 of each for entering. The kit covers for 16 people, and basically it's games. You play them with the quick build cards. You don't use your own builds, you use what's on these cards. I dare say you can use quick build cards from the past. I'll just double check. Sign-up sheet, enroll, tokens. Each player uses these ones, so you have got Karud with servo motor, S-foils, stealth device and outmaneuver. A Himitsu with proton torpedoes and lone wolf. Then Skull Squadron Pilot with marksmanship, advanced proton torpedoes and afterburners. It doesn't say anything about using all 3 of them in the same squad at the same time, which could be quite interesting. I guess it's down to whoever stores it at, to how many you use, what thread level you use. To get the coins, you have to complete 3 of the following ones. Play a game using threat level of at least 5 threat, so yes, you're going to have to use 2. So that, or bring a new player. Bring a new player would be a good one, because we want more people playing the game. Destroy a ship or win a game, that's pretty self-explanatory, and then play 3 games or spend 3 tokens. Put a tick box in each one, and there you go. You get some nice shiny tokens. And I don't know why I'm typing, but hiya key and welcome Jack. Yeah, the prizes that I've shown so far are the ones on here are for just turning up. You don't need to win them, Jack. The ones on the first slide of the patronage cards, you spend more than enough at B's on your X-Wing to be getting one of them. The championship one, yeah, you never know. You might get them. So this is the next one, which people have been quoting this as the Star Championship kit. It's a little bit less and a little bit down from what it is, but the stuff in there is really nice. So what I've done is, when I took the photo, I took the Grey Squadron bomber side of the plastic card, and I'll put because you can still see the other side of it, because it's a flip card, and it also has a first place stamp on it, which FFG are quite liking at the moment. The card is really nice, it really is nice. It's the usual spot gloss, but I'm not a Rebel fan, but the Grey Squadron bomber really looks nice on it. So what we get 33, sorry, we get top 32 cards, we get tokens for bomb, even though they show red on here, red on the card, the blue in real life. You get, again, charge tokens. They're about the size of an old 10p piece. They're a little bit bigger than the shields that are out at the moment. So that's a Wave Championship, the Wave Championship part of it. It's up to 32 players, supported by the kit, and it'll just be what looks like the higher end of the tournaments. And then for the last one, you get a thematic tournament. So you get the Black Squadron Ace card, which that part of it there is, that's one side, that's the back of it. So basically its back is the print of the front, just without the stats and everything on. Really nice looking card. The second part is this Black Squadron Ace and R2-D2, which are, again, as it says here, they're a plastic card and it's on both sides. So one side's R2-D2 and the other side's Black Squadron Ace. Both again are really nice quality spot gloss plastic cards. Yeah, to say I'm a bit jealous about these is an understatement. And then there's R2-D2s as well. I believe the R2-D2s are top 4, or I think they're calling them achievement prizes. So there's bits and pieces to work out in the new system to see what we're going to be, what gets awarded for what. But the amount that was in this pack was phenomenal. There's loads of really good stuff in there. As I say, I'm looking forward to the tournament tournament season again. These can be used, I believe, pretty much straight away. So we might see these popping up in the next couple of weeks if we're lucky. And this is new ships have entered the fray. Give your players a chance to play with the new wave in 3 different events. The next kits, I believe, will be all centered around the Wave 2 stuff that comes out, which again, I think it's going to be really nice. It's a different way of doing it from last time, where it was just set events. You had the game night kit, you had the next level up was Star Championship, regional, and then nationals, Euros, with odd ones spotted in between. I think these wave ones for when new stuff comes out, to try and get people to try the new ships, to use the new ships. I'm probably one of the worst for it. I've got ships that I've never used sat on the shelf. I've got ships that I've never even looked at. So I think this is going to be a way to get people to try the stuff that they've got on the shelf, rather than just making it look pretty and sitting in the bag on the shelf. And I think people will pick up new ships, try new ships, try different things, and maybe get to like something else other than their favourite ship. Who are decimators? Anyway, so that's the wave kits as we've got them at the moment. Quick flick back through. And hopefully see some of you at Beanies when we run the event. I know we get quite a lot of people travelling up to Beanies and enjoying the Beanies event, so with any luck I'll get to see some of you again and have some of these events run. I think we're going to look at running the smaller parts, maybe the quick builds on a FNX, which is a Friday night for Beanies, the thematic tournament and Wave Championship, and maybe a Sunday tournament, because we have Sunday tournaments every month now. So hopefully I'll get to see you all then. Well, if no one turns up and I get the nice shiny card for win, no, I'd prefer you lot to come and see me and play. But a big thanks to Steve, 1, for letting me run the events whenever he can, and 2, for letting us see these early and basically letting you lot see them a lot earlier. So over to a bit of the painting stuff for today. I'm going to change camera desk. So what I have got today is I've got the topper for my Weekend Warlords tray. Cogger 2 sorted me out. Ash ordered me it, but Cogatoo did the special one-off design for us. You'll see when the plastic when the cork comes off. Yeah, no, I'm going to show you because it's really nice. So what we have, if you go under the close cam, is a real bright red. It's actually called chili red. I think Michaela found it for me. So it's chili red, but it's also frosted, so there's no glare off it. And oops, that with the black is phenomenal. So a couple of people have asked me. I did a set for a friend, Martin, a couple of weeks back. I've probably lost half of these now. So a quick blast through, literally, of how to do them with an airbrush. It's also, Michaela's been umming and ahhing about doing an airbrush. At the moment, when everyone buys painted stuff, she's actually painting all these by hands for you. So getting Michaela on board for an airbrush might be beneficial for her. So airbrush, and yeah, that's fine. Compressor, did I leave it on? So any airbrush, it doesn't, for this sort of stuff, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You are, I'm just putting what I would class as a base coat down, so it's a base coat brush. For the black, I'm going to use, I've sung its praise before. It's Styrolyze from Badger. I get it from Steve Puffer at Badger UK. It's £25 for a 16-ounce bottle, which is about half a litre. I've had this for, well, Battlefield's coming up again, so I've had this for a year. Coming up in 2 weeks time, I've had this for a year, and I paint a lot of, and I think I've got, looking at that, about half of it left. So in comparison to a lot of the aerosol cans out there, it's a lot better value, but you've got to have a compressor and an airbrush. Or if you look at one of my older videos, you can actually see that we did it with a nail brush kit, which was really cheap. I'll just set the compressor a bit higher. There we go. So, usual. This is, because we're not doing any paint work over the top of it or anything like that. This is just black primer, technically, that I'm using. So, I might not do all of them tonight because I don't want to bore everyone. So, this will really show you how quick it is with an airbrush. Excuse me. So that's the weekend part done. I like to go over it again. With it being etched straight down, sometimes it is quite hard to get the paint to go straight down, if that makes sense. It's like it's like spraying into a canyon. If you hit it at an angle, sometimes the paint doesn't actually go in, and you get red showing through, which
on this amount of work, it's not hard to go and get something like a null in oil wash and quickly go over the bits that are missed. I'll just toward there. So that's the whole front cover done. Again, these are a little bit trickier because you've got to not hit the edge. So when I do it, I spray at an angle. So if you imagine it's coming down at it like that, if you do it at an angle towards, away from the edge, like that, you don't get any on the edge. And then when you do the other side, you do exactly the opposite and do it the other way. And then I'll just blow over it with some air just to get some extra drying on. So again, none on the edge. It's pretty clean. Now, got to do the line. The line you're going to have to hit directly from above. And again, when you get to the end, just do it so it's pointing away. And you don't then get any on the end of the ruler. Also, with it being a primer, it doesn't take very long to go off. So, and there we have it. Obviously, you would understand that just rattling through all of these going, it's going to be a lot quicker doing it this way than it is with a paintbrush and sitting splodging the paint on. If you do get it onto the side, this edge, I've been using wet and dry, just a little bit of wet and dry down the edge with some water on. Tends to pull the paint off and it's as good as new. It goes back to the original colour. Again, the lines are really thin, so it's not easy to get the paint down that line. But as I say, the airbrush is going to have a better stab at it than splodging the cup across it with a normal brush. Again, I'd like to thank Karud for these, doing them in the colours that I wanted. The rest of my case is in matte black, so the cherry red and the matte black just look absolutely phenomenal. And if anyone's at Nerf Herder this weekend, I'll have them there. Which reminds me, anyone listening, I hope people are going to Nerf Herder this weekend. Can't wait to see my extended family there again. Great event. Been there for the last, well, for all of them. Even the warm-up ones that were some time ago. Carl Walker runs runs the biggest charity event. I can't remember how much we made last year, but there was well over 150 people turned up on the day, of people from all over. And it's just, yeah, I know it's Hull's Children's Hospital Award this year, because I'm doing the weight loss for it as well. So you could also sponsor us for that if you wanted. We have a GoFundMe somewhere. If you look for the Great British Weight Loss Group, me and Steve Theobald are in there. Or catch us at the weekend and we'll show you where to make your donations and such like. Again, Steve's doing it for the Lay Foundation and I'm doing it for Nerf Herder. Whichever Nerf Herder charity it is, I'll support it with Carl. I'm also not playing this weekend. I know I volunteered to be a judge, so I know at the moment there's myself and THBD that are judging, and we judged last year and it was a great time. Seb's alright, but don't tell him I said that. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's 2 days, but we're travelling down on the Friday. Probably get there about 6 or 7 o'clock, so we might pop over to the venue. The venue is Element Games. They've let Carl use the venue for the event, so we're going to be there all weekend, so pop along, see us. There's a raffle, there's an auction. I'm not sure, I think we're auctioning off Carl Walker this, yeah, I'm almost certain we're auctioning Carl Walker off for something. So if you want Carl, I think he's up for grabs. And you would have to get that past Carl, but I don't see why not Keith. I always said a Decimator and a Y-Wing should be allowed in the same list. Along the same things of, I should be allowed 4 Decimators in the same list. Yeah, I think some of our lot are travelling down midday for a couple of pickup games, so there is people going to be there all Friday as well. It's just I'm taking people who are working, and as you know, as everyone knows, I don't drink, so I don't need to be there that early to be drinking and that sort of stuff. Honest. Headless Body of Agnew. I don't know who you are, but I probably know who you are, but I don't know your name on here. Oops. There we go. Hi, Colin. Yeah, I'll definitely be down. Yeah, I'm always working. I never get to watch these cool series and stuff, and actually I prefer to be on telly these days. And not many left. So you'll see the airbrush coughing and spluttering there. That's not the usual thing the airbrush does. That was, I was airbrushing late last night, I think very late, and by the looks of it, I think I forgot, yep, I actually forgot to clean the brush out properly, so, which is fine as long as Rasta doesn't see the video and thong me one for not cleaning out my airbrush. Oh, squeaky. So yeah, what's your silence worth? About what, Key? I've got no idea what you're on about. Can't prove a thing. My lips aren't moving. So, that was a complete template set. I had a lot of wasted paint. I'm just going to quickly clean out. I'm not going to do a proper clean out. I promise I'll do my proper clean out later. So for people that haven't seen the airbrush or me using the airbrush before, it's a sauce bottle from the pound shop full of normal water, and I've got a whiskey bucket, a whiskey chiller bucket on the floor down beside me that I just blast the water into the cup, and looking at it, that is quite caked in, sorry. And then afterwards, so not to waste it, I have the proper cleaning solution. So fill it with the cleaning solution. I then do half the cup through slowly, just to let some of the cleaning solution go down, and then I will leave half a cup in, and then tonight after the YouTube, I will promise I'll definitely clean out. Yes, Jack, it's a whiskey chiller bucket. It's oh, is it whiskey? I'll just double check. No, I tell a lie. It's actually, oh, there we go. It is single malt Jura whiskey bucket. I've been told it's a collector's piece, but it is to oh God, don't look in there. It is to chill whiskey. I don't know why people would want chilled whiskey. Could be a spittoon from the olden days, because it's got a wood handle on it, and it's nice and coppery and probably worth an absolute fortune. But I'll empty it out into the main bin, so it's not full of what I've been drinking and eating today. So basically, there's bits of masking tape, paint and stuff like that. It just gets thrown in there, and it saves having to go to the sink every 2 minutes, and it just sits under my desk. Every couple of days I'll just like swill it out, clean it out, take out the back garden, jet wash it, get rid of all of the bits and pieces out at the bottom of it. Hopefully by that time nothing will have started living in it. It'll all be good. So we have loads of templates ready to be peeled, and the main one. So this is the one I'm eager about. See what I'll do. is put my glasses back on so I can quickly see where I need to pick bits out from. I'm doing this first just to check that it's dry enough to start doing it. So there we go. Yes, it is key. An old-fashioned ice bucket, but missing the oak internal panels. Cool. Yeah, I think it was the lad next door gave us it because it was at the place, the pub or whatever he'd been working at. Oh, look at that. Yes, Jack. I may have to be rude and go and get the actual full set in a minute. And also not have loads of paint all over my hands because I stole it. There we go. So, the big reveal part. Carefully, so oh wow, that's phenomenal. So masking tape in the usual place, in the bucket. Let me just get the last couple of bits off. Neaten up a couple of the bits. I don't want to go rubbing it too much till it fully dries. But that is absolutely beautiful. So what we have on the back is this as well. So the red, once you peel it all off, you get like a see-through, so you're going to be able to see my templates and the fact that I spilled paint on my hand. Right, I'll just before I'll put that there. Free bit of advertising, and I'll go and get the rest of my tray. So what I have is the standard tray setup, but now it will have a chili red lid, and I don't want to put that there. Just put that up there for now, out the way. What I'll also have is, as I do these, I'll do the big 5. I'll save picking out all the little bits for later, but I'm hoping you guys can see. So that's the transparency of the the 5 forward, but when it goes into there, it just looks phenomenal. You catch the light off it at certain angles, and it's very Sith, which obviously appeals to me slightly. So as you can see, the second one has the backing still on, so I know some people like Mr. Christian love having the backing left on. So, and then actually when you put that over, you can see the templates actually shine through as a redder colour. And a bit of tip. Yes, Jack, they definitely deserve some decimator action. I promise I will get playing more. I'm just trying to find my mojo, as it were. I don't know how to explain it. I've had a lot on for the last 2 or 3 months. X-Wing's going to be it always will be my favourite game, but unfortunately I do play other games at the moment which are taking up just as much as my time, and obviously this live streaming thing, it can take a little bit of time. Oh, that looks amazing. Yeah, I need some employees that don't take money off me, which I think is highly illegal in this day and age. I'll get this in there. There we go. Should be able to see it. As I say, I've not picked out any of the little bits yet. Oh, that one depicked itself. I'll get through that over the week. Well, I haven't got much of the week left. So again, the red plastic is chili red. The red acrylic is chili red from Karud 2. It's been special order, but I'm more than sure if you ask for it, Michaela will be more than happy to order it in, or if they've got any left from this, use that. What I also got done this year, I'll go to my shiny box of tricks. Look at this. UKTC first year, UKTC second year, UKTC third year, and I have one for this year as well, but it's missing at the moment. So I asked John and Michaela about some new tokens. So I have chili red tokens as well. So we've got the focus, evade, again just airbrushed last week. So reinforced front, reinforced rear, yeah. The target locks, I've done the target locks in different colours, so 5's black, 3's white, 2's silver, and the matching versions of them. Oops, you can't see them, sorry. So like them. We've then got the shield tokens and the chili red. I'm sorry, you're going to get me saying chili red for the next 2 years. Jam token, tractor token, trying to think of other ones. I know that there's charge token, spent charge. I did the purple ones, definitely. There's your stress. There was one. The purple with the red looks really nice. So the purple and the spent for the force tokens. Again, I just asked Michaela if I could have everything on chili red, because it just really appeals to me. And so back in them, stress in there, them, and as some of you'll know, I collect my acrylics, I collect my dice. That is my drawer of nice shiny stuff. I've removed, I've basically put all of my FFG stuff up for sale, and I'm just going to use my chili red set because they're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, if I could get chili red dice, I'd probably have chili red dice as well. Straight. I'll have a look at that, Zoe. We have been having technical issues with the live stream. There's, for some reason, it's not showing on YouTube. For some reason, it's not putting a. I think. Are you subscribed and do you have the notification? I can't believe I'm showing that side off and belly off. That's disgraceful. I think for YouTube you need the little bell ticked and activated. I don't know then. It could be because it's OBS software, or but it's something I can look into. I'll look into that this week. We've also picked up a couple of new bits for the stream. Did have it. I've bought a new Sony camera, so I'll have that with me at the weekend. I'll bring that round. I've started down the slippery road of editing videos, so I can actually start editing my own videos. I'm just slowly learning, and well, you're good with computers, so you can figure it out for me later. Gee, children of today. Can't think of any other reason to have children. Fixing my computer problems. Zoe was the one that actually showed me the ins and outs of some of the editing software when we first started it down the Mac. I've gone over to DaVinci something. It's really good editing software, and there's a free version out there that is really good as well. So we're running that at the moment, and I've got a couple of bits and pieces sorted out for going on the shows at the start and at the end. So there we go. That's the chili red and the chili red matte and matte red. Oh, you know what? I missed the range rulers. I'll do them later. So there. And then that looks phenomenal. Again, Michaela at Cogger2, John at Cogger2, thank you very much for these. These are absolutely fantastic. I love them to bits. My most favoritist templates and holder ever. Also, that was something else we got. We got, in the same material, a deck box for the promo decks, which... So you've got the big old person promo the old person damage deck, so we can read them, and you basically can actually read stuff instead of needing a microscope. So Cogger2 have done a damage deck holder, and they fit in, if you get them in straightly, with the sheet with the sleeves on. So they're all nicely protected. Pull out. Not that you'll ever need to use your damage cards. That's only people that actually get shot. So we have done that. Something. Oh, that was another one. Everyone knows what these are. I'm at the point now where I'm buying an absolute stack of them. I picked up quite a good tip last week, and I might do a short video on it at some point. And it is really just a daft video. They're like 50p or £1 each, but when you get it in that state from doing a day's painting, people just say put them in the washer, that sort of stuff. But when you're using certain paints, it's just not. You basically end up ruining them. So what someone advised to do is get my trusty PVA glue out, and in the bottom of a trough pour some PVA and then rub it round. Do it in all the pots, even go over bits like that. In the red, around the edge for that. Yep, and then just leave it for a couple of days. Come back to it tomorrow once it's dried. And in good old Blue Peter fashion, here's one that I glued earlier. So you then just put your finger on the edge, scrape it, and it comes off in one bit, and you get a clean pot. Obviously I didn't do it all the way up far enough, but it's more than enough. So again, it's glue all the way over the top. Pull it off, and again. There we go. And that. And again. And on the final one, the orange comes off. A couple of bits off there. And the last bit of the red. Put some glue over that. Oh, and the back bit there. So, as good as new. And it saves it going through the dishwasher and getting shouted at. And it also saves having to go out and buy more. As you can imagine, we were going through. Oops, we were going through quite a lot. So the little bit of saving for a couple of pence of wood glue. Right, I'll put my knife away. I can't believe how daft that some of the suggestions that we pick up are, and then how far people actually look at it. Because thinking of what you're saying there is, if obviously you've seen me paint, my mixing palette is there. My spill palette is over here. But what I was just thinking is, bet you if I coat that with PVA and I get up in the morning, I'll be able to peel it all off. And you know what? It's so satisfying peeling it. It's like being at school with the copy decks, where you rub the copy decks into your hand and then you just sat for an hour peeling it off. That was amazing. So, should we do a... Let's have a look at building a e-web while I'm on. And here's one I opened earlier. Ah, yes, I opened this for the spoilers that we did. So, Star Wars Legion. I know it's an X-Wing thing, but I do everything. E-web, heavy blaster team. And the mean-looking snowtroopers. Card pack, token pack. Put one side. Oh. Do you know what? No instructions on how to build them. Unless there's... Ah, right. slipped down the back. It's okay. I'll let them off. So, instructions on how to build your e-web. If you put them in thinners, Zoe, the plastic will just melt. Jack, I would love to sell you one. Legion, but just locally we don't have the player base for it at the moment. I get the models. I tend to buy the models because it's a snow trooper, and the models are fantastic, and I love painting the models. If you want to paint them, buy them to paint. Just understand that the gaming scene isn't that popular up here. Let's have a look. So we have an e-web, we have someone kneeling down. So we have how the bits go together. We have a picture on the back. So he's playing with the Atari game pod there. I like to do this before I actually start gluing stuff into place, because what I'm thinking is this fella and this fella need to be white and these need to be done in black. So, and these fellas have already been built, so my apologies. These do come in a multi-part. I'm gonna have to take them apart to actually glue them, because it looks silly if they just fall apart on the table. That's a one piece. He's got a leg that comes off, an arm that comes off, and an arm that comes off. So they're the bits for him. They're the bits for him. That is just a one piece. I tend to speed paint a lot. I paint as quickly as possible, so I don't tend to pre-paint as such, because if I was doing something a bit special, like something like this is painted by one of my friends, Ben, and he painted this for his Iron Warriors army that I now own. It's amazing. If I was painting stuff like that, I would probably do in sub-assemblies, paint certain stuff at certain times, but when it's stuff like this, I only tend to look at what's going to be white and what's going to be black, and then I work from there. If I then need to glue it together at that point, then I'll quickly do it in white, paint it up separate as a figure, then attach it to the whole board, ready to go, sort of thing. So my super glue of choice, because albeit plastic, this isn't the same as GW plastic. You need super glue for it, and I use Gorilla for two reasons. One, you get a really nice nozzle, and right down in there you also get a really nice pin that keeps it clean. So, but the best part of these ones is you pull this end out and it becomes a brush. So when you're doing delicate work, you don't need to worry about getting super glue in the exact places. So for this, we'll just hit the center. I'm going to run away gluing. I'm also going to fix the gun in place, just so it's not bouncing up and down. So if that goes like that, that part of the gun wants to be that way. what I do tend to do a lot nowadays, Jack, and I didn't in the past, is pre-assemble the parts, put the parts together, dry fit them, check them before applying the glue, because the number of times I've gone, oh, that just doesn't fit, and it's already covered in glue, it can be quite annoying. So my Instaset, which a little bit in there, a little bit in there, and it's ready to go. So something I was shown a couple of weeks back that I hadn't really picked up on is another way of using the Instaset. So you have one piece which you put your super glue on, put some around the side, and then you put the Instaset on the bit that's going in. So just rub it around with your finger, and then push it down. When the Instaset hits the super glue, it should go off instantly and a lot faster than super glue normally does. Yep, and that's glued. So the next part is fitting that into there, which as you can probably see doesn't make for a good looking gun position. So right, what I'm going to do is employ a hairdryer. Just on the end bit. There we go. So push that in. And looking at the it sits like that. So it's a lot closer than it was, so by the time I glue it down. So now, not the, yeah, no, it was, I wanted it to bend this time. So with this, it wants to face that direction in the direction of the slot. So point the gun in that direction and let's see where the rest of the stuff goes. Right. Have I got that the right way around? No. So that goes something like that. So you have this little gentleman sat here and this gentleman stood there going pew pew. So again, a bit of moulding of that round. He can go there, he can go there. Right, I'll quickly glue the arms on. So again, it gets the glue round the outside of it without blobbing in too much. And then just pop in the arms. That's really quick. So I don't want that to glue in, but what I want is it all together to sort of represent where it needs to be. And we'll do the dude with one leg. There it goes. It's cool. snip that together. So obviously that's the setup that I want, but I don't want it gluing together yet because I want to spray him white and I also want to spray him white. So do that, and quick knife to just a quick mark down on it where that's going to sit. Once that's in place, I can glue that bit down, and away we go. That's down. Line up roughly where that's going to go. Quite happy with that, facing that direction. Once the bits are in place, quick skirt, squirt, squirt, and it holds. It's a lifesaver, this stuff. So, so what I can do is, when I've done the basing material, which I'm going to use Astrogranite debris once it's all done, I'm going to use the Astrogranite and then snow over the top of it. Then him kneeling on that and him stood on that should finish it off quite nicely. So I'll let that dry off. The other bits are glued. So before I quickly prime them, let's have a look. So yeah. FFG mold lines. I need to work on them because that is a mold line, but it's inverted. That smoothed it off a bit. Looking for other ones, there's one there. So yeah, rounded it back. The time I find the mold lines, 90% of the time, is just after I've sprayed the white onto them. I'll have missed one and then I find it and then I've got to remove the mold line and then re-primer it. Right, there's one right down the inner arm. They're any painter's nightmare. Right, so a quick sneaky that I do, saying that, might not have one handy. There's a lot of junk in here. There we go. It's a bit big, but pound shop. These are the brass wire brushes, so they're not the steel ones, because the steel ones would just destroy it. So wherever I've gone over and I've scuffed it, give it a quick blast with the wire brush across it. And what it does is, where you've scratched it, it smooths it out a little bit. But also, it shows up the bits you've missed. And it's not too bad to harm the plastic. So I've not tried this yet. Sometimes you get lucky. I know some of the GW models that we do actually get rid of the mould line just like that by a bit of a wire brush. That was a bit thick. But the hairline ones just tend to come off with the brush. Follow it down his arm, there we go. Definite one on his arm. And this arm. There's a weird one there. Yeah, that's gone. And oh, there we go. Now I know as soon as I'm doing it under here, some of you are going to, well, you can't see that, but I know it's there. No, Jack. This is Bob Smith Industries Instaset. They're called accelerators for foam and plastic. I tend to pick it up off eBay because it's not something that a lot of the shops have sat around on the shelf. When you spray it, you'll understand why. It's quite a pungent smell. Ooh, there's a big one. But it's something you get used to, and it's worth the smell. It really does worth the smell. When I do metal figures, obviously, in the past I've done the metal figures, and I haven't done that much in the way of pinning. I'm only just getting into the swing of pinning things. I used to basically just use super glue and the Instaset, and it used to be great. I didn't get that many problems from it. A quick squirt. The usual thing. I know these have all been cleaned before I started playing around with them, so I don't need to do the normal thing of washing too much of it. But where there is thick Instaset, I do tend to give it a quick clean, and we're done. Yeah, it's been around for as long as super glue, I think, Jack. It's good. You can imagine juggling 5 or 6 bits of an arm, leg, and stuff like that, especially when it's metal. By the time you actually get it held in place long enough for it to set, it's normally wobbled all over the place and yeah, fallen off. That was what I was going to do as well. I got asked a while ago, and if Peter ever watches this, how do I prime my miniatures? When I'm doing batches, as I don't know if you can see, I tend to use what's called a stick. So a painting stick with just double-sided tape, pound shop double-sided tape down it. So stick it on, and he's stuck there for now. Same for this little fella. He's on. So I think that tub was £4 key, and if you use it, sometimes the way I use it, rather than, I know I was being a bit posh there and squirting it, but where I showed you touching pads together and stuff like that, I'll take the top off and I'll just use the tube as a dropper and drop one drop onto where it needs to go. I've never used the bicarb. Might have to give it a go. But then I've got about 4 tubs. That's what it started out as. When I used to do the remote control car stuff, when we had to fix stuff in the pit, and as you can tell that's quite an old lid on that, so I've had that around for a while. I used to use this, which was Zip Kicker, big blast, and it is a compressed can, and they were about £12, but it could get you out of a fit, it could get your car up and running quickly with just 2 squirts, and you were up and running again, super glue and a couple of squirts of that, and it was fixed. That's where I picked it up from. I know other people use it in the miniatures industry. So what we have is two snow troopers on a stick and an airbrush. And an airline somewhere. So, one airline, one of them, and again, styronized white primer. Something just fell off the shelf. Quick shake. Yeah, I won't go daft. About that much in the pot. And I'll do this away from that. The stick has the ability to allow you to go underneath, round it, side, and not hold the actual miniature while you're painting it. When I'm doing the white, especially on snow troopers and stuff like that, I like to make sure that the white has coated fully. Sometimes I'll even do a second coat of the primer. The main reason is because of how bright the white is from Styronize. I tend to use that as the base coat as well. So that's the white. As you'll have seen from my doing Stormtroopers fast, I will literally spray the white, wash it, dry brush it, and basically ready to go at that point, sort of thing, for doing all the detail work. So that's done to there. I then put that stick to one side, somewhere nice and safe where it's not going to get covered, and I'm going to get my new stick. Because believe it or not, last week I needed a longer stick for more troops to do. So a quick look for the double-sided tape would help. Did I have it out? Nope. I've put it somewhere safe. Out here. So I'm not going to use much on this one because it's just the gun emplacement, so enough to cover the gun emplacement. Put it on the end of the stick. I'm trying to see where, if you can see it. Peel it off. quick fix. And we're going to do this in black. So, black's down right. I should really put the top on that. It would be just my luck to knock it over. Yeah, I've used it for filling gaps as a filling agent, but I've never used it to make it go off quick. I used to do one of the big ones I used to do, Key, was I would cover a 25-32mm base in it, and then spray the zip kicker, which was the aerosol one, straight onto it with about 1 mil or 2 of super glue all over, and it bubbles and it looks very epoxy and it very nurgly, and then when you paint it over it just looks fantastic. So again, just with the black I can spin it round to get all the angles in one good go without too much hassle. I think this one's a bit too long for I also take this opportunity to do the base. The main reason is when you put the Astrogranite on, if it goes straight to the plastic, it's got nothing to bite into, nothing to key into. So nothing to key into. So I tend to primer the base in whatever colour I'm doing to start with. I know, even discussing with a couple of people tonight, Mr. Snowden, he mentioned some of the models that we've just got in for another job, that you could see through the basing slightly, and that's down to the fact that we based them with sand straight on something. Wow, nothing to see here. And yes, you can still see through them slightly, so I think we might do another coat afterwards as well, just to hide the fact underneath. But when you're doing grey, being able to see through and seeing the black is sometimes not that much of a, so doing a bit more of a clean than normal because it's getting quite bad in there. So a large just mucky brush, spun round, is cleaning it all off. What you never do at this point is you never spray it through, because all the detritus and the crud that you get, yeah, we can call you Key. It's almost funny. Yeah, because if you look in there closely, you can see little bits of crap floating around. So what I tend to do is first, again, just give it another blast out, make sure there's nothing there. Once you've done that, quick check inside and go to the good stuff. Once you've got the good stuff in, you take just a bit of cloth, put the nozzle on, and then let it blow back through the chamber. And it's just, I think the lad that I picked it up off calls it backwashing, and you can see in the bottom it seems to be, there's no lumps floating around, so it gives it a bit of Yeah, Jack, cheers. So, that whistled there. So, I'm going to have a quick look in the tip. Don't do this at home. So, right in the tip, there's the needle, which I know is pretty clean, and then that tiny bit there is the bit that tends to get messed up. So I'll pull that out, and this is how I do it, like a deep clean on a night, just a little bit more in depth. Clean the needle. Check that the tip's not damaged, but let me see the crud. Yeah. Right, then you've got the same with that. Now, see if we can. So, when you're spraying, the paint comes through that little bit there. So when the needle comes back out, the paint is allowed to go through, but when it goes back in, it stops the paint. So the varying position of that needle, which you can just see. Let's go to see if I can do it on the close-up. There you go. Excuse the horrible nails, but that determines how much mixture comes through. So if you're sat with it there, inside here, as you can see, it's horrible and black in there. So what we would normally do is, once it builds up quite considerably, we would I'd put it into an ultrasonic bath and give it a good clean out. But you can get these for pennies from eBay and stuff like that. They're a couple of quid for a set. And this goes inside there, and if you spin it round gently, you can pick out, it's actually pretty clean, any bits that have built up down the side. It's like a sort of a drill, but it doesn't drill, it only does it off the side. So that looks pretty clear. Looking in the end of the airbrush, pretty clean. Put that back on. That's pretty clear. And put the tip back on. I was waiting for K to say just the tip. So there you go. So now I've pushed it out with the needle. Can you see on the end of the lump of crud that came out? So now, cool bits of that, and again right on the tip, lump of little mud, paint, crud, detritus, whatever you want to call it. And that is what the clogs are on the airbrushes. So if I put that back on now, that's really good. So hibernation time for the airbrush. Put that in, a couple of blasts through, and leave it sat in the pot. So the quick way. They all have the different quirks, Jack. The one that I kept telling you about is the Iwata. I'll go the close up again. The Rasta swears by them. If I hadn't already bought this is my airbrush collection that people can see. Not in the close up. I'll go to the. So I have an Iwata Eclipse. I've got my two workhorses, which are Sotar 2020s. I have one. They've got both have got different tips in. One set up for fine work, one set up for base coating and a bit thicker nozzle, a bit thicker needle and nozzle to get the paint through. I have just received a shiny box that I'm going to do a review on in the near future. This was sent over from Badger in America. I don't normally get them from America. They just had a really silly offer on. This is the Sotar 2020, which is exactly the same as these two, except it's called the Slim. So the difference between the two is this is the normal Sotar with the quite a big cup, and this is the Slim that doesn't have a cup as such, but when you look at it, I'll try and get it to focus it in. No, it's not going to work. There you go. So it has just a trough that you put the paint in at the top, and the needle's there. This is for super fine detail work. I'm yet to use it, yet to test it, but soon. It was my birthday present from Jo. She saw Badger doing them on special offer and put an order in for us. I normally go to Badger UK for all of my brushes. Steve there was absolutely brilliant with me. I had a Sotar 2020 and my Korn Renegade Chrome. Sorry, not Chrome. Renegade Chrome, spelt the same way as Korn. That tip is very much the same as the Sotar 2020. Again, it's a really nice airbrush. Doesn't get as used as much as it should. And I had them, and I had problems with them. They were blocked up, and I wasn't used to using them. So I had a quick word with Steve. We went. It was about a year ago. We went over to Battleground, which I'll be going back to this year in Stockton, like a wargaming. Bring and buy sale there. There's loads of stalls, and Steve was up with it's a whole Badger store, which hopefully I'll get some more stuff this year. And at the time I had the Chrome and a 2020, and they were blocked. They were a mess. I didn't understand cleaning them very well, so he showed me cleaning them a bit better. I'd also lost a part out of the 2020 that was causing it to backwash all the time. I then went and I bought a new Sotar, and in a kit he did me the Sotar 2020 with the fine tip and the Badger Patriot 105, which is a general purpose one again, for doing what's it called, like the nitty gritty, the big putting base coats down, putting your primer down and stuff like that. And he did me, I think it was £220, and what he also did was he gave me a load of styronized samples of the different colours and stuff like that, just so I could try them out. I've used the brown a lot. That's the black actually. I should actually try the black. I bought a full bottle of black off him in the end. A full bottle of black, a full bottle of white, and a full bottle of grey. They're brilliant. So again, if you pop the tip off that, that's very much the same inside there. They're all about the same jack. This one is the Eclipse, which I've just cleaned, and that one's the same, but as you'll have seen, I'm just trying to clean that, that's a bit mucky. With the badgers, the nib fell off, or just pulls off. This, you need a tiny spanner, and that actually unscrews as well, so it's a little bit harder to get into, but the quality is there just the same. The thing between Badger and Iwater is, and Harder and Steinbach are the same. It's all down to personal preference. They're all as good as each other. Some people are more suited to one. I think it's down the thing as Vauxhall and Ford, or General Motors and Ford if you're from America. I'm not going to turn around and say you should use a Badger, you should use a Iwater. Different people, different budgets. I already had 2 Badgers when I started. Steve also took the 2 Badgers that I'd made a mess of and stripped them, thoroughly cleaned them and fixed them up, and they've been absolutely brilliant ever since. And I do put a lot of work through the airbrushes. As I say, I've got the 2 Sotars are constantly on the go. The 3rd one will be joining them once I get I don't want to get it messy for doing a review. So even though I threw it across the table, that's how we're sat with the E-Web, and the 2 guys that go onto the E-Web, they're about dry, so they just peel off the mat, the steak. So I'll just put them in gently for now. I think some people would say that was almost ready to go. Ooh. The Aztec one, is it the one in the wood case, mate? Because they were beautiful. I remember seeing one at my local model store years ago, and they were absolutely gorgeous. They were in a lovely wood box and stuff like that. Or they came in a lovely wood box. A lot of them never ever stayed in there for long. So, what time have we got? We've been on the air for an hour and 40 minutes. Right. I need to put them through a wash and get them underway. Oh, you'll have to send us a picture through. I do like my old airbrushes, and I like seeing how they used to work. I've got a couple of old ones up in the shed that I don't want to use because they're old and I don't want to break them. So we're not far off done for the evening. I'm hoping everyone's enjoyed themselves tonight. If there's anything else you would like to see, I know Jack's always asking questions, so if there's anything you want to see, Jack, or anything you want to run through, either give us a shout or drop it in the comments. We have a couple of new series coming along, which is going to be around the new 40k game, the Blackstone Fortress game. We're hoping to have a copy of that on the table and doing some live stream games from it. Again, thanks to Beanies. I'll be getting that off them soon and painted. My team of painters are going to paint it up for the show, and we're going to do a run through and see what the game's like. I quite fancy doing odds and sods of games like that, just to just to do some playthroughs and just to have some fun live streaming games that we play. I don't get to play enough games. A lot of people will tell you that. I would just like to play some, show you people how much fun you can have with certain games. A little bit of review like we did on Battlestar Galactica last week. Hopefully Steve will come along and help again, because he's good fun. That's it. Anything that you can think of. I'm also at Nerf Herder all weekend. I'll be there from Friday night-ish, depending on what time Steve finishes and we find Martin. It'll be all day Saturday, all day Sunday till it's over. If you want to see anything on the live stream, just give us a shout. Grab us while I'm there. I'm not going to go down the route of shouting out to people. If you want shout outs and stuff like that, stick your name in the chat there and have a chat with us on the night, and we'll have a laugh. And I hope everyone has a really good time at Nerf Herder. It's a great event, loads of fun. It's not too serious for most people. And yeah, I would call that a wrap for the evening. Have a good night, and we will see you for the next one.